Nick, where are you at? Hurry up and get to the hospital, please. You should have gotten a call from the hospital saying that Mom just had to get rushed to the emergency room, right?
Shut up, Taylor. Even if she had to go to the emergency room, all she did was fall down a couple of stairs and hurt her legs. Is there really even a reason to go to a hospital for something like that? Besides, I'm busy dealing with my job.
She hit her head really hard on the ground, and at the moment, she still hasn't come to. You need to be more worried about your own mother's condition over a day at work.
Huh? I need to be?
I think you don't realize just how bad she hit her head on the ground, Nick. The doctor even told us that with how bad the injury is, she may be in a coma for some time from it.
Are you serious? Is it that bad of an injury then? That means right now is the perfect chance. I can finally come back home and get all the money I want out of Mom's bank account.
Excuse me?
Recently, I asked Mom to let me borrow some money from her, but when she replied to me, she was super upset to hear me ask that. She told me that she had no more money for me to have, and then sent me out of her house. But I have to make sure that I have money myself in case of emergencies, right? So I think I'll head back over there after work and take her checkbook and make a few transfers. And if by the off chance Mom does end up waking up from that coma, you go ahead and tell her what's gone on since she fell.
I can't believe you right now. Right now, when Mom needs us most, you're going to take her checkbook and run?
Well, I'm in a bit of a predicament myself over here. It seems that the company that finally got on its feet is now at risk of going back under again. So if I can use her money to help it out of the hole, it should be able to run itself again. And so in times like this, I have to borrow some kind of money from Mom.
How many times now has it been that your company has been close to going bankrupt? You used that same reasoning last year to take over $10,000 from Mom without ever giving anything back to her.
Having to run your own company is a really difficult job. But I'm sure that some old office lady would never be able to understand those sort of struggles, huh? In my case, even when taking huge risks like I have to make sure that I win so that I can get a lot more cash at the end of the year.
What the hell? You're nothing more than a simple business owner. Yet you think you can act like you run the country because of that?
What did you say?
I know about you, Nick. I know about how you will go out and use your status as a business owner and the CEO of that company to get whatever you want. Like how you'll go out with others every night to go drinking and will charge it all to your business. Maybe because you think that you can get away with having your company pay for you, your company is going back under again.
And what would a simpleton like you know about the business world? I am a genius when it comes to this kind of complex world. I'm probably one of the most important men just in this city.
Well, if that's the case, then there's no reason to have Mom be the one paying for everything. You've already caused her enough troubles in the past, and all that just become an egotistical jerk. You're not even willing to come and see Mom now when she's in the hospital. After all the help and support she's given you, the least you can do is come here and show your love and thanks for her.
It's because of her taking good care of me that I'm not going to come there. But that last time when I expected her help, she just got upset with me instead. So me coming now would only make her blood pressure rise from the anger she holds for me now. And I might end up killing her by accident. So me not going to that hospital to see her is all so that she doesn't have to be upset with me.
So that means you're just allowed to waltz into her house then when nobody's home and take her checkbook? If you want to help her by not making her upset, then how could taking more of her money help? She might just end up passing out again at that point.
And to make sure that doesn't happen, I'm making sure you're there to keep her under control. Now, I have a checkbook to grab. If she's okay when she wakes up, tell her that once my company comes around this time, I'll make sure to pay her back. Maybe.
What kind of a horrible person are you? Not even coming to give your own mother a farewell at her funeral? I never thought that my boyfriend's little sister could be this much of a scummy waste. Well, now when him and I get married, I am never going to even bother to get close to you. Huh? I heard all about what's happened from Nick about you and him. But the fact that you'd actually act this crazy is beyond me. You have no right to be absent during your mother's funeral, you jerk. I'm sorry to have to ask this, but who is this? Are you sure you don't have the wrong number or something? I know for a fact that this is the right number. I'm sending all of these messages to Nick's little sister right now. But just to keep you from becoming too confused, my name is Janice, and I'm Nick's fiancé. And I was expecting to become your sister-in-law here soon, but now I'm thinking twice about ever coming near you. What? My brother's fiancé? Nick had never spoken to you about anything to do with me and how we planned to get married. He actually told me to never even speak to you. But to just leave someone that never went to their parents' funeral alone, I just can't do that. And so that's why I decided to text you so that you can have the gift of listening to me complain about you. Can you slow down for just a second? I'm having a bit of trouble understanding what's all going on here, but I'd like to know what you're talking about when you say that I was absent from my mom's funeral. You can't be serious. Do you really think you can play dumb now? Especially when your mother only just passed away a little bit ago? What? I've heard all about you from Nick. He's always gone on about how ever since you were little, you've been the most selfish person he's known. How if you're not number one, you'll never let things rest. And because of that reason there, he's always had to work so hard and fight for some sort of success. And it's even because of you that he wasn't able to get the education he wanted because he could never make it to the college of his liking. What are you going on about? And when it came to your guys' parents, they always favored you over him. It's because of that when your dad passed away, you did nothing to help out with the family. And when your mother ended up unconscious, you didn't do a dang thing and had to ask that your brother handle everything. And it seems that even after your own mother finally passed away from those accidents, you didn't even bother showing to her funeral. Can you please stop talking for a second? What the hell are you talking about? All of that sounds like some bullcrap to me. What about any of this is bullcrap to you, you little piece of crap? After doing absolutely nothing for your family, you want to come and get the money left over, don't you? I bet you've even gone and taken what was supposed to be left for Nick so that he doesn't get a dime. Huh? Why the hell are you such a greedy witch? There's no reason you should be allowed to take all your parents' money when you already took so much from Nick. We'll make sure that all that money from your dead mother goes to us. So give us everything you took from her right now. You can say all you want about me, but, I think you have a ton of misunderstandings right now. And it seems that my brother got the best of you by telling you all sorts of stories that make him look as though he suffered. The only one that ended up getting everything they wanted was you. And now you're acting as though you don't know anything about Nick. You left all the care that needed to be done for your mother to Nick, and you never even showed up to her funeral. Yet now you think it's okay to have all her money? That must explain why at your age, you're still single and alone. You're the worst. Huh? Your parents ended up spoiling you too much, and now you can't even find a man to put up with your needs. But I have to say, most men don't like being together with a spoiled brat. And since you're so spoiled, you wouldn't need a man anyway, would you? Who are you calling a spoiled brat? Jeez, just when I was getting away with being able to marry a business owner and everything, his mother had to pass away. The whole time we were supposed to be getting the wedding together, he had to care for her and such before she passed. And so the only thing that kept me going with him was knowing that one day, his mother's money would come to us. But now I have to live with the fact that all the money I had hoped for is being stolen by his little brat sister. I am never going to forgive you for that. You really love to just spew crap from that mouth of yours, huh? Do you think you can listen to what I have to say? Shut up, you ugly witch! You're the worst thing to happen to the family. Hurry up and give me my money. I'm going to be the wife of a CEO, and so that means I should be getting all the money from his mother. So that money is mine and my man's. Huh? You're worthless as anyone's daughter if you can't even make it to your own mom's funeral. You have no right to her money. So you give all of it to us. My mom passed away 7 years ago. What? You never bothered to listen to what I had to say, so I'll tell you again. My mom died 7 years ago. Yet you want me to give you all her money now? And you think I don't have any right to her money? You've been going on about such nonsense for almost 30 minutes now, so could you stop that? You're the one that's been speaking nonsense. What the hell do you mean she passed away 7 years ago? Your mom only just passed away last week, right? I'm not sure what all my older brother has told you, but our mom passed away 7 years ago. And the one that ended up caring for her before she passed was me. And the one that put the whole funeral together was also me. Actually, my pile of crap brother never even once talked to me after that, and he didn't do a thing to help with the setup. Huh? He said that I'm a selfish little sister, did he? And that's the reason he could never do anything about me? I'm sorry, but everything he's told you and you've told me is the complete opposite from the truth. The only one that ended up being super selfish was my brother, Nick. And the one who never got to study or go to the college of their choice was me. And the reason for that is because my brother would always take loads of money from my parents without ever paying either one back. What? Well, even if I tell you all of this now, I'm sure that it's all really difficult for you to believe right now, right? I can already tell that you've been deceived by my brother for so long that all of this is lies to you. That's right. I can't believe a dang thing you're saying right now. Well, then go back and ask my brother about all of this again. Ask him how exactly my mom died. And also ask him what kind of funeral he gave for her. I'm sure that he won't be able to give you a good answer to either of those two questions.
Taylor, hey! Listen, do you think you can read the atmosphere a little here? Why the hell were you telling her the truth about everything? Couldn't you have just let her have a moment of yelling at you and then moved on from there?
I was just finally starting to relax again, and now you're here. What do you want? And also, can you please thank me for what I did? I made sure to take time out of my day to correct all the bull crap you told Janice.
What do you mean, bull crap? I had to explain what happened with me as well.
Huh? What situation are you talking about?
Well, I have finally gotten my company to steady out, and I now have myself a girlfriend. But she keeps nagging me, asking me to get married as soon as possible. I had only just gotten engaged to her, but she kept asking me to meet my mother and all that. I had a lot of things happen to me, so I wasn't able to make it back to Mom's house easily, right? So I told her that my mother had fallen, and a lot of things happened since then.
And so after that, you told her that Mom had passed away and all that other crap?
I had no other choice, Taylor! She told me that she can't meet my mom, to at least let me go and see others in my family. And so I chose to tell her that Mom passed away out of nowhere. And by telling her that you're a terrible sister and shouldn't be messed with, she would not bother asking to meet you. At least I thought she'd stay away from you.
So you just couldn't stop yourself from telling lie after lie, and now your whole life story is a lie. So it's all because of you that she thinks I'm some kind of mentally screwed up sister? A person that I don't even know about just randomly started texting me, calling me a witch and ugly and all that. Why do I have to be the one that has to deal with this crap now?
Well, that's what I'm wondering myself. Perhaps if you were just a bit nicer of a little sister, I could have gotten away with all the lies I told Janice. Why, though? Why would you tell her that Mom passed away 7 years ago? Now you've gone ahead and made her doubt some of what I said.
Huh? You shouldn't have been lying to her about that sort of stuff in the first place. But at this point, I'm not even sure what you should have done since you seem so freaking toxic right now. You know that your mom passed away 7 years ago, and she should have known as well.
Huh? Wait, so she seriously did pass away? Wait, are you actually being serious about that?
You remember how she fell down the stairs and slammed her head on the ground, right? Well, in the end, she never did come out of that coma and did pass away.
What?
But during that whole time, you just left me to watch over her while you took her checkbook and ran. I tried my best to contact you over and over again to tell you that she had died. But you never once replied to me or answered my calls, leaving yourself in the dark about everything.
So back when you were calling me like 10 to 11 times a day, it was because Mom passing away? I just assumed that it was Mom trying to yell at me after she woke up from her coma or something. I knew that she'd be pissed after hearing that I took her checkbook, and so I just wanted to run away and ignore her.
And what you did back then will never be forgiven. You went and caused trouble for her all the way to her very last breath. And then when we had her funeral, you never bothered showing up for that. Back then, I had never wanted to think about you as my brother, but my, what good timing. I never knew all of that was just you ignoring me that whole time, thinking that you could just stay away hidden from Mom or something. Luckily now, I'll finally be able to get all that money of hers that you used back from you.
Wait, get that money back?
Mom had kept a record of all the money she lended you back in the day. But now that she's gone, I'll take her place and gladly accept all that money back for her. And after taking a good look at it all, you owe me $300,000. I want all of that back and all in one payment.
What?
Well, if your company is going steady now, then you shouldn't have a problem giving me that money, right? Now, good luck getting all that money prepared for me. Taylor, I am so sorry for the huge misunderstanding yesterday. I happened to get pretty upset with you for a second there. You have that right. For that short amount of time, you blamed me for everything that happened and acted as though I was the one lying to you about it all. Calling me a witch, ugly, and selfish like you knew me well enough for that. You really had quite the colorful tongue then. That was a bit much from me. Well, now none of that really matters to me. I no longer have any intention of being around you guys. And so if you still feel happy to be with that pile of crap, then go ahead and marry him. But that's what I want to talk about. I think that I've actually rethought wanting to marry him. So I've been wondering if you could tell me the truth about his company as well for me. Huh? I tried asking him if there was any other things he lied about to make himself look good for me. But he ended up saying that there was nothing else that was a lie, yet I still don't believe any of that. And when I went and searched through his room for any obvious things, I found some papers relating to his company. So I wanted to see if you knew anything about that. I have no idea what's going on with my brother's company since it's been 7 years since we last talked. But I will say that when he first started up that company, he had multiple times where it almost went bankrupt. And when that would happen, he'd run home to us crying and ask for some money. However, the last time that happened was when my mom was in the hospital before her death. And instead of coming in to see her, he ran to the house and stole her checkbook. Altogether, though, my mom had given him over $300,000 to help keep his company going. Over $300,000? And you're saying that when your mom was dying, he went and stole her checkbook before running? And now I plan to get all that money he took from her back. I'm not quite sure how his company is doing now and all, but I am going to make sure that every penny he took is back with me. Could this possibly mean that Nick is kind of a scummy person? I think I really did make a mistake when choosing who I wanted to marry. Well, just to let you know, I plan to sue you as well, okay? Not only did you not have any idea who I was before talking to me, but you started out the conversation by verbally assaulting me for no good reason. That really caused me some trauma, and so I'll get with a lawyer to have a lawsuit made against you. What? But I was being played by your brother. I'm sure that you don't see it as too much of a problem, but to me, this is about my pride being hurt by you. For so long now, I've had a tough life due to Nick. And after having to deal with my past with him for years now, I was finally getting myself into a happy place. But right when everything was looking good for me, you came along and destroyed what I'd worked so hard for in one small set of text messages. And now, I can't just let you get away with doing that. Stop lying, okay? Stop all of that! I told you that your brother was the one that took advantage of me! Well then, how about instead of getting sued by me, you tell me the address that my brother is living at now? He had run long and far from me, and so for the past 7 years, I've never been able to find where he ran off to. But if you happen to, A, not tell me his address and keep going on like you're the victim, or B, tell him that I want his address and help him to run even further, I'll sue you for everything you have. Well, if that's the case, then I'll tell you. He has a company that's probably not even doing well right now anyway. No need for a man like that. I'll tell you whatever you want to know about him, so please don't sue me.
Hi, Taylor. I have something I'd like to ask from you, and that's... Will you give me a little money?
What?
I know that I told you that my company was running steadily not too long ago, but to be honest, there still seems to be a few setbacks.
Nice one asking me for more money after all that's happened.
But it's because of what's happened that I'm asking. The whole reason I had to cut ties for a long time was because I felt no use in being around all of you anymore. But knowing now that Mom ended up passing away, I never expected that to happen. Now that I'm back in touch with you and you're not too upset with me, I'm so happy. We don't have our parents around anymore, so it's just you and me now, right? So let's start helping each other out more so that we can both live a happy life.
Stop with all that bullcrap, man. I will never help you, Nick. Now that you have your answer, I'd like you to hurry up and give me all the money you owe Mom.
Hey, you don't have to be so rough like that. I'm telling you that once my company is back and steady, I can get you all that money.
But you've told that to Mom plenty of times, and yet here we are with you having to pay $300,000 to me.
But I promise that this next time I will get you that money back. If you don't want to help me out now, are you okay with me cutting ties with you again? If you allow that to happen, then I'll never be able to give you that money because you don't know where I'll be. You only have my phone number now, and that's not even close to enough for you to be able to find me.
I'm sorry, Nick, but I already know everything about you now. Where your house is, where your company is located, everything. I know about your friends that you go out drinking with. I know all the customers that buy from your company. Everything.
Huh?
And now that I have all of this information, I can bring my lawyer along to make sure that all of that money does indeed come back to me.
Lawyer?
Well, I never was spoiled as much as you were by Mom and Dad. They would never let me run away from them like you always did, but unlike them, I'll never let you run from me. I'll make sure that after this you give me anything you can to make up that $300,000.
Hey, hold on! You can't just get a lawyer to come after your own brother.
And why can't I? You're practically a criminal at this point. You would always say some crap to Mom to get her money and then never give anything back to her even though you said you would. And that's why you ended up staying away from her even when she was on her deathbed. Not to mention the actual crime in all of this. You stealing her checkbook? Well, I'm going to take all of this very seriously, so you'd best be ready. I was able to get in touch with an excellent lawyer, and with the help of them, I was able to get all that money back from my brother. And due to this, the company he ran instantly went bankrupt. But just before anything could happen to it, it was sold by him, but he only made out with a small amount of pocket change. After what had happened, he is now left with over $1 million in debt to both the bank and other loan agencies. So, to start putting any sort of dent, or I guess in this case, scratch, into that amount, he's picked up a part-time job. And as for the fiancé of Nick, Janice, she was just getting to the point where she was going to leave him and give the engagement ring back to him when she realized she was pregnant. Unfortunately, this left her with no other choice, and she married my brother. But to all those around her, they still had no clue of what happened, so she keeps a face on for them to assure them all that she is still married to a CEO and will someday make it big. And when anyone she does know sees her working her part-time job at the local diner, she tells them it was her husband that owned the place. I guess those two really did turn out to be just like the other, lying their way into the illusion that they are living the dream. I thought today was your graduation. Why are there no signs or staff at the high school? The parking lot is basically empty right now.
I saw you getting extra ready this morning, but I didn't think you'd actually be tricked.
What do you mean, tricked?
Oh, yeah, the day of our graduation was rescheduled.
What do you mean it was rescheduled?
I mean that I'm not graduating today. I don't have school anymore, though, so I'm out with my friends right now.
Seriously? Again?
What do you mean, again?
Well, you lied to me about the date of the parent-teacher conference, and you made sure that I couldn't show up, didn't you?
Did I? I don't remember. It was such a long time ago. You know, only family members are allowed to come to the parent-teacher conference and graduation ceremony.
I am a family member.
No, you're not. The only family member that I have right now is my dad.
You're still going to say that? You're not 15 anymore. Please, stop.
You're just Dad's sugar baby. Why did Dad think it would be a good idea to remarry someone like you? Even my previous mom was better than you. She didn't complain the way you do.
You were head over heels when we announced that we were getting married. Why are you saying all of this now?
I mean, what else was I supposed to say in front of Dad? I need to be the perfect daughter that he thinks I am when I'm in front of him.
It's like you have two different personalities. I guess they were right when they said that women can be frightening.
Maybe I'll be an actress when I'm older.
Whatever. So it was a lie that today was your graduation day, and your ceremony is on another day, right? Then I'm going to head home.
I'll have Dad come over to the real graduation ceremony, and you're not invited to come. Not that you're allowed to anyway, since you're not a family member and I hate you.
Why do you hate me so much?
How am I supposed to know? I just hate what I hate, and I hate you. It gets on my nerves just seeing you inside the house. And even the thought of the taste of your cooking makes me gag. I also hate the way you're so desperate for my dad's attention.
When have I ever been desperate for his attention?
Back when he wasn't married to you, my dad listened to anything I asked him for. But ever since you came, he stopped listening to me unconditionally. You fed him lies about me and lowered my image so that you could get more attention from him, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
How am I supposed to trust what you say? I'm not your daughter, and you've never thought of me as your daughter, have you?
Of course I think of you as my daughter. If I didn't, then I wouldn't care enough to point out the things that I think are wrong.
No, you just hate me. And I don't care if you hate me because I hate you too. If anything, it's best for everyone if you just leave the house right now. Get divorced from Dad, old lady.
Old lady? How dare you? Do you think a loving parent's job is to just spoil their kids unconditionally? Because it's not. It's to teach them what is accepted and what isn't in the real world.
Quit acting like you're my mother. You're just a stranger. Anyways, I don't have the time to be wasting talking to some stranger. I'm going to a carnival with my friends. Don't text me anymore.
A carnival? Do you have the money to go? You told me 2 days ago that you used all of your allowance for this month, so you need some money.
The truth is, I know where you keep the cash inside of the house.
You took money from the house? Your father and I told you to work out your spending from your monthly allowance over and over again.
Who cares? I only took like $300.
$300? That was the grocery money.
The entrance fees went up lately. And I want to buy food and merch from the stands inside. So $300 is the bare minimum that I need to have fun. Just think of it as a present for graduation. Well then, I've got to go. Wait a minute, we gave you your present for graduation already. We paid for your whole graduation trip with your friends. Rose?
How was the graduation ceremony?
Rose lied to me. Again.
Lied to you?
Yeah, the same thing as the parent-teacher conference. Apparently the actual graduation day is next week.
Wait, but we read a paper that had the date on it.
I'm sure she just remade it and changed the date, just so that I couldn't show up. It probably isn't that difficult if you have a printer.
Wow. I'm sorry for making you go through that again. It's all because I was spoiling her until I married you.
I mean, I understand how you felt. You just wanted to show that you loved her, right? Rose didn't receive much love from her mother, so you wanted to make up for that, didn't you? I can't imagine how difficult it was to raise a daughter on your own.
Yeah. But after getting married to you, I realized that blindly doing whatever she wants isn't the same as loving her. So I tried to fix my relationship with her, but I guess it was too late. She was already in middle school by the time you and I got married.
There's no such thing as too late. We've both tried our very best to have a sincere relationship with her. And I still think it isn't too late. The only reason that she won't acknowledge me as her mother is because I'm not trying hard enough. I'm more stress tolerant than I look, so I can keep going.
Thank you so much. I don't know what I'd do without you. But still, I think it's a problem on her side that she keeps lying to you over and over again. I feel that she might do something that's too far if she keeps going.
I mean, she still lives with us. And she'll be going to university from our house instead of a dorm. So we can help her out for now. But I'm worried about what might happen when she's on her own in the real world.
In that case, I have a plan on what to do if she ever tries us again.
A plan?
Yeah, I mean, you tried the nice way over and over again, and it didn't work. So we've got to change things up a bit, don't we?
I mean, I guess. By the way, Rose told me that she wanted just you to show up at her graduation ceremony.
Just me?
Yeah, apparently only family members are invited, and I'm a stranger, not a family member. So she doesn't want me to come.
Can you show me your text messages with Rose when I get home?
Sure, but why?
I want to see what kind of stuff she's always sending you. She probably says things to you that she would never say to even a stranger, right? I want to know those things as her father.
Okay, but if she ever finds out that I showed you our text messages, she'll probably hate me for life. So only use them to acknowledge that she says those things, okay?
Okay.
Guess who just graduated and also turned 18? I'm a full-grown adult now. Anyways, I was kind of bummed out to see that Dad wasn't here. I was really glad to see that you weren't there, though. Congratulations on graduating, and happy birthday. Since you're a full-grown adult now, I expect you to carry yourself around as an adult, so that we can treat you like one. Stop trying to parent me, old lady. The only thing that you do is lie around at home all day and use up Dad's money. You're not in a place to be parenting me. Old lady, huh? Yep, and I'm an adult now, so I think your job is done in our family. I guess so. It looks like there is not much that I can do for you anymore. Well then, I'm gonna go party with my friends, to celebrate our graduation. Oh, and I'm gonna stop by somewhere before that, so I'll go do what I gotta do. Okay, but even if you've graduated, don't do anything stupid in your uniform. I brought a change of clothes, don't worry. Don't be too late. Sure, but make sure to pack your things by the time I'm home. Pack my things? I've prepared something for you. Let's say a surprise. Congratulations! Today you finally become free. I haven't felt this good in months. Freedom comes with responsibility. Oh, shut up already. You're already a stranger now, legally. So, could you do me a favor and leave my house? Legally? Didn't I tell you that I have a surprise? Well, surprise! I turned in divorce papers for you and Dad.
What? Is this a prank?
Nope, this is completely real. I kicked the useless old lady who calls herself my mom out of my house. It took a lot of preparation, but totally worth it. All of my friends agreed that this was the best option.
What did you do about the signatures?
Who cares? I'm sure they don't even check if the signatures are real or not. So I signed your signature for you, and my friend's boyfriend signed Dad's for him.
You know, imitating another person's signature and turning in a legal document is a serious crime.
Do you know what's more of a crime? For a stranger to linger around in someone's house and act like they belong there. I just graduated from high school, so I thought it was a good time to surprise you. Congratulations, you just graduated from your role as my mother.
Well then, I'm graduating from my role as your father too.
Wait, what? What do you mean? My dad's still my dad.
The person that you're texting right now is your father, not your mother.
Who exactly do you think you're fooling here? I get that you're getting worked up because I turned in your divorce papers as a surprise, but are you seriously gonna lie that you're my dad? What are you trying to do exactly?
You're in no place to be talking to others about lying. You lied about the parent-teacher conference and graduation ceremony, and many more things.
Look, you're not fooling anyone here, so could you just pack your things up and leave already?
You're the one who's going to pack up your things and leave, Rose.
You're seriously starting to get on my nerves. Stop acting like my dad right now. He's working at his office right now, even I know that. How would he be texting me through your phone right now?
I logged into her account through my computer.
Through your computer?
Yeah, and I've read every single text between you and your mother. It was absolutely terrible. I couldn't believe that the person who texted those messages was my own daughter. So I decided to have your mother share her password and login ID with me, so that I could see whenever you said something.
Wait, Daddy? Actually, hold on. Did you actually read all of the texts?
Yes. Your mother is also watching this conversation on her phone. But I'm talking to you through my computer right now.
Wait, Daddy, it's not what it looks like.
What is it then? Can you give me a valid explanation of what it is I just witnessed?
Well...
Exactly. You turned in legal documents as a surprise, right? Who did you do that for?
For you, of course. Because I know that there is someone more worthy of you, not someone like that lady.
You know, I made you go through a lot after divorcing your mother. And I'm sure I hurt you many times. So I've done things your way to make up for those things. But ever since I realized that that's not love, I acted more strictly towards you because I thought that you deserved a parent who really cared.
I only need you. We only need each other. If you have money to spend on that lady, then spend it on me.
You just want things to be about yourself, don't you? Then you can be alone and have everything be about yourself by yourself.
By myself?
Didn't you hear me? I'm graduating from the role of your father, just like the way Helen graduated from the role of your mother. You're already an adult, right? So figure out the rest of your life on your own.
Wait, what? But I'm still gonna be a college student.
If you're gonna choose to be a college student, then I suggest you get a job because there's gonna be a lot of tuition and living expenses to pay for. Balance your studies and work.
What? I can't do that.
You're going to college to learn, aren't you?
That's just irresponsible as a parent.
My legal responsibility to make you go to school applies up until high school, and you don't understand the worth of money yet.
Of course I do.
If you really did, then you wouldn't steal money from the house and go spend it with your friends.
That old hag, she snitched.
I told you that I saw all of the texts. Look, you're an adult now, and you want to go to college to learn. If that's the path that you're taking, then figure it out on your own. Do everything at your own risk. This is where I let go of your hand and you keep walking on your own.
But you can't just say that all of a sudden.
As I said, freedom comes with responsibility. Making choices on your own comes with risks. Happy birthday. I hope that you live a good life.
If you really hope that I have a good life, then pay for my tuition, please. I just wanted to live alone with you. I just wanted all of your love and money for myself.
Then you didn't do anything for me. You did it for yourself.
I'm still your cute little daughter, aren't I? I've acted the way that you wanted me to until now.
If you can't take good care of someone important to me, then you're clearly not acting the way that I want you to. If you really cared for me, then you would understand that Helen is the person I want to be with, and you wouldn't have turned in that divorce paper. You would have swallowed your pride and given her a chance. If you want everything to be about yourself, then live on your own.
I just graduated from high school. How am I supposed to do that?
Just go to your grandmother's house for the night.
What? Grandma's house?
Figure out how you're going to live from now on by the time college starts, because you'll never step into our house ever again.
You have got to be kidding me.
I'm dead serious. I was literal when I said that I'm no longer your father.
But I can't live on my own.
Well, you're not a child anymore, so you're going to have to. You knew what was right and what was wrong, and you still chose to do what was wrong. You brought yourself into this situation. It hurts me to know that you could do and say those things while knowing how the other person would feel.
Daddy, I'm so sorry. I'll be a completely different person from now on. Please, forgive me.
And there you go apologizing to the wrong person again. This is my responsibility. I couldn't teach you what was right until now. So I'm going to have to change the way I do things from now on. Think of this as your last chance, and have a good look in the mirror before deciding on how to live from now on. Well then, I've explained everything to your grandmother.
Wait, Dad, please! Don't throw me away like this! Daddy? Mom? Dad? I don't care, whoever, please just answer.
Your father is driving, so he can't answer the phone right now.
Mom? Where are you? I just came home and everything is gone and no one's here.
We sent all of your things to your grandmother's house, didn't we?
But what about all of your stuff?
We moved.
Moved?
Yeah, we're headed to our new house right now.
New house? Where?
Can't tell you. We decided together that we won't tell you anymore. Anyway, have you already decided on what you're going to do about your housing and job after college starts?
Of course not. I don't have any money.
We already paid for the initial fees, didn't we?
But I can't afford to pay the tuition.
We handed your grandmother the information to your bank account. It has all of the birthday money and extra income that you received and never used.
But this isn't enough.
Of course it isn't. You used up almost everything the moment you received it.
Well, then what am I supposed to do? I can't even move with this money. But Grandma keeps telling me that I'll only be able to stay at her place for another month.
I mean, you don't expect her to let you stay at her house for the rest of your life, do you?
I was planning to go to college from our old house, so I never saved up to live alone.
I know that. You were planning to make your father and I divorce so that you could live alone with him and live a worry-free, amazing college life, right?
Please, just tell me where your new house is. I'm begging you.
I'm nice, but not nice enough to live with someone who I know hates my guts. I'm sorry, honey.
But at this rate, I won't be able to go to college. And I haven't found a place to work at either. So I'll be homeless before I even know it.
You're going to get to live at your grandmother's place for another month or so. So I suggest that you at least figure out how to do some chores around the house by the time you get kicked out.
How would you forgive me?
This isn't a matter of forgiving or not forgiving. This is called tough love.
This isn't love.
I mean, we gave you soft love for a long time, but you never fixed anything. This is our final resort to help you become a responsible adult.
Please forgive me. I can't just not go to college while the rest of my friends are. And I can't be the only one who's working my butt off to pay my bills. Are you listening, Mom?
It's strange. I wanted you to call me by that name so badly, but I couldn't care less anymore. I guess my brain just processes you as a stranger now.
I'll apologize for everything that happened until now. Let's just go back to how things were, please. Let's be a family again.
The way things were? You want to go back to when you never acknowledged me as a family member and disregarded all of my hard work to be a good mother? Because if that's the case, I'm going to have to reject your offer. Your father and I are still human beings, just like you are. We can't accept everything and act like nothing happened.
But I'm apologizing to you.
Well then, I'll be muting my phone now. I'm also blocking your number, so only contact your father from now on. And keep it to the minimum.
To the minimum?
Yep. Good luck figuring things out on your own. Bye-bye. Rose turned out to be unable to pay for her tuition and decided not to start college. Her grandmother knew the whole situation. And being the strict person that she is, she really decided to make Rose live on her own after 1 month. I've heard that she's currently working multiple jobs at a time, and finally acknowledges how valuable money is, and how difficult it is to make a living on her own.
I know things have happened between us, but you and I are good friends, right? I want to continue to be good friends with you, Stella, so can you please just forgive me for what happened? You have no right telling me that after stealing my fiancé from me. I never stole anyone from you. All that was our destinies aligning. Huh? Destinies aligning? Well, that's what happened, right? If we had all not been going out at the same time and at the same place, something like this would have never happened. And if it wasn't for us seeing one another at work every so often, then we would have never fallen in love. Aren't I right? The fact that you ended up going to the same place for work a few times with Alec is a bit odd, and I guess you could say that it was both of your destinies. But you still knew that he was going out with me, so it wasn't you for letting him go out with you while he was still with me, right? Before you say that was all part of your destinies, maybe you should think of your morals. I had no choice, Stella. When him and I got closer to each other than we'd ever been before, it only took 3 seconds before we knew that we had to be together. Well then, if you thought you were both made for each other, then you both should have at least broken up with their respective partners before you started dating. Then there wouldn't have been any problems, right? But instead, you went behind your boyfriend's back and Alec went behind mine, and you've both been cheating, and that's a huge problem. Well, that was just because we didn't have time to tell anyone, so you can't blame this on me. You literally just stole my fiancé from me, and you still don't feel like you've done anything wrong? I don't care how many times you ask for forgiveness later, I'm not looking back at you. I get that you're never going to forgive either of us, but Stella, do you think you can at least give the speech at my wedding when we make the date? Huh? Speech? We've had that promise for the longest time now, right? We made the promise that when one of us gets married, the other person has to give a speech at their wedding. You think right now's the best time to be bringing that up? Well, you know the both of us very well, so I just thought it'd be best if you gave the speech. That'd make both Alec and I very happy. So you'll give the speech at the wedding, right? We're best friends after all. I don't have the heart to continue calling someone my best friend after they've stolen my fiancé. You should go ask someone else to give that speech. I don't think I'll be able to find anyone else. I'm sure that you're just shocked right now after being thrown away by Alec and all. Anyway, I was thrown away? So how about you just take a little time to yourself to calm down a bit, and then we can talk about this again and have the wedding. What are you talking about? I will make sure to wait as long as I can for you to be understanding of us and for you to make it to our wedding to celebrate. I just thought it'd be the right thing to do after how long we've been friends. What are you going on about? No matter how much time you give me to think about all of this and settle down, it'll never be enough to get me to celebrate the two of you getting married. And the reason for that is obvious, right? I think you're better off just preparing yourself for what comes next. You're all right. You don't have to continue to be that upset about this. I understand you completely. I know how you feel after having something like this happen to you. I mean, we're best friends after all, and have been for the longest time. Just stop all of that. When we've decided on the date to have the wedding, I'll let you know. I don't want to talk I don't want you to talk to me anymore.
I finished moving out. I was really enjoying this house a lot, and was hoping that her and I would be able to live here. But I guess there was no other way. I was the one that messed up in the end. And so me having to leave this place is the right thing to do.
I'm surprised it didn't take you longer to understand that you and her are to blame for all of this. Are you sure you know what all you've done wrong?
Oh, I think I've been a bit mean for what I did while with you. And it's been decided by fate that I should be with Sophia. So to keep you from getting any more upset with us, I left the house. And I'll be paying you back for all the money you put into having our parents meet up at dinner that one time.
And so that means we really are through then.
Well, there's nothing else I can do now.
I want to know why you ended up cheating on me. We had been with each other forever and had been talking about getting married for years now, yet you started to cheat on me 3 months ago, right? We only just had our parents meet each other last month, so you were even cheating on me then. So you let our parents meet each other knowing very well that I wasn't the girl you loved? So why did you go through all of that instead of just breaking up with me for Sophia?
There were a lot of things going on.
What things? I'm not pissed at you right now for calling off us getting married or anything like that. I'm pissed about you thinking it was okay to be cheating on me during the time we were getting ready to get married, thinking that it would be fine.
The guy that Sophia had been going out with said he didn't want to break up with her.
And you think that's going to be a good excuse for you too?
I told you I had no other choice. She went through a lot to be with me. The man that she was with wanted her to be around him all the time. But he was so selfish and never once thought about how she felt or whether she was happy or not.
But from all my position, you all seem to be very selfish and careless about others' feelings.
Don't get so upset over that.
So that's what happens to make you cheat on me?
I would have been better off with anyone besides you.
Huh? What do you mean?
We had plans for things between us. Like if A was wrong, then we'd go B, and if B was wrong, we'd go C. But you never seemed to follow any of those plans.
We had made plans for getting married and everything, and yet you're getting upset at me for not always abiding by your plans?
Well, luckily I had a plan for this as well. I had multiple that I kept a secret from you and only thought about during work. Those plans were made in case things between you and I didn't work. And luckily, I managed to make one of my secret plans work out for me.
Hold on, Alec. You're not saying there have been other women besides Sophia, right? Right?
There have been.
I cannot believe this right now.
Luckily, it turns out that Sophia was the right one where we both just started off really well when we first met. And then at work, things were really able to heat up. At first, I thought that I should have just stayed with you since you were my plan A, and things were going so well. You could cook, you could clean, and you could maintain a good pay. That's the reason why I was planning to marry you. And then I started to think about the beauty in Sophia, and the fact that she had her special features as well.
What? What do you think of other people, Alec?
I'll let you know this as a way of easing your mind. You and I are over, and that's due to your overstaying your visit with me. Us men are much more into women that have the looks, rather than those that have the skills. And so when I compare you to Sophia, she's off the charts with how beautiful she is as a woman.
And so you decided to choose her over me because of her looks?
I chose her for her looks because that's what will make me happy. Like when you and I go out to eat at a restaurant, you're always going with us some plain old pasta dish that makes you look boring. But with Sophia, she will eat everything but the boring dishes, and it makes her look all exciting and fun.
That's a completely different issue, Alec.
No, that's another thing I think about. You're just boring and plain like a lot of other women. And that's why I ended up going out with someone like Sophia behind your back. But at least I know that what I did was wrong, and that's why I'll make sure to pay you back for all the problems I've made for you. So now you should be happy, and we can be done with this conversation.
Done with it?
You and Sophia have been best friends for a long time now, right? So that means you need to be celebrating your friend's happiness. Even after what's happened, I'd like the two of you to continue being good friends, okay? Well, I've talked long enough. All I really wanted to say to you was that I finished moving out. So I'm finished. Thanks for everything we once had together.
Stella, it's been a little while. I have some things to update you on, okay? Alec and I have made plans for our wedding, and I made sure to send you an invitation in the mail. I got it. Wait, really? Thank goodness. I only knew the address of the place that was supposed to be where Alec and I lived, so since that was the last place I knew you'd been living, I decided to send the invitation there. But I wasn't sure if you were there anymore, and so I was a little worried about if you'd get it or not. Well, I have moved out of that place. Luckily, the mail service realized that that wasn't my house anymore and had the mail redirected to me. Huh, I see. Have you taken a look at the card yet then? Alec and I put a lot of effort into making sure that card came out looking cute. You really didn't have to send me this invitation though. But we promised that you'd be coming to give that speech at the wedding, right? So you really were being serious about having me give that speech then? Well, we had made that promise long ago and had always been talking about it, right? I doubt you'd say no to giving the speech now, right? I mean, you always made it very clear to me ever since elementary school that you'd never break any of our promises, right? But I really don't want to give a speech about someone who has no morals. I made sure to save up a ton of money over this last year, and now we'll be giving an absolutely amazing wedding. We had to end up taking out a little money, but this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, right? And so there was no point in us holding anything back. I think even you'll be blown away by all the decorations when you come. Just make sure that when your time comes, you don't have your wedding here, though. This invitation has everything written down on it, like the address and such, but who do I call to say that I'll be coming? We already expect you to come. So you didn't even get an answer from me, yet you just assumed that I'll make it? I know that you'll be coming, right? After all, this is Alec and my wedding that we're talking about. Well, it's for that very reason that I don't actually want to come there at all. Are you saying that you still have some feelings about what happened a year ago? I really thought that with the amount of time you've had, you would have gotten all over that by now. It's been a year, Stella. So just let it go, okay? Alright? I made sure to let that all go, and so did Alec. That's not something you should be saying to me. I get it. I'll take you off the guest list. Guest list? But that means you have to at least give the speech. You made that promise to me, so you have to come for at least that part. And you feel okay leaving me to make a speech up for your wedding? Of course I do. Let me think about that a little and I'll text you later. I believe that you'll be able to give the best speech for us since you're my best friend and are Alec's ex. After this will be your speech. Have you gotten everything ready? Are you feeling a bit nervous? You think now's the good time to be looking at your phone texting me while you're having your wedding going on? Well, it has been a long time now since our little incident, and I know you should be over it by now. And now that I'm so excited to just have you here ready to give the speech, I thought I'd just check up on you to make sure you're doing okay. Well, thanks for worrying about me, but I'm not in any way nervous about the speech. Thank goodness. I hope that you don't back out of this right before you get on stage. You're going to go through with the promise you made for me, right? I made sure to get myself prepared for my best friend's speech, and I've brought a lot of tissues to dry my tears with when it's all over. Of course, you'd better look forward to this. Thank you, Stella. I made sure to call in a special guest as well. A special guest? You said that you were fine with me making up the speech, right? I just asked the staff about them and they said they're coming soon. You'd better listen very closely to this speech, okay? Stella, what are you thinking? And what were you thinking running out of your own wedding before the speech even ended? You're the one that asked for me to do the speech for you, right? I wasn't even able to get all the special guests onto the stage before you run off. What is this whole thing with you and those special guests? I was hoping that this speech was going to be something heartwarming that would make me cry over how happy I am to have you as a friend. Did you not see who all I brought out? They're all the different women that your soon-to-be husband has been cheating on you and I with. Huh? They're all his other women? Well, some of them are also your exes and his exes. What are you talking about? Well, the man you had been with a year ago came out on stage. You had run away from him right before the two of you were supposed to get married to steal Alec from me. But there are others here now, and they're all your current flings and affairs. One of them is the guy you bring with you when you go on trips to Mexico, since Alec doesn't handle spicy foods all too well. There's also the other guy that you bring with you when you go to shopping for clothing and accessories. Wait a second, why? Why do you know about all of them? Well, the person that I began to talk with after you took Alec away from me was your ex-boyfriend, and it seems that he was able to find all sorts of people you've had relationship with. And he told me everything I needed to know about you. About me? Wait, but why? This was to allow the both of us to make sure that we can get a settlement from you guys for everything you did to me and your ex. Huh? I had always been suspicious of you though. I really wanted to know why you and Alec decided to run from me and your ex so fast. And even though we knew you both had been dating behind our backs, it was hard to figure anything out about you two because you were so good at keeping secrets. And I told you the reason we left you guys was to do various things. Alec told me that the reason he took you was because your boyfriend was selfish and wanted you around him 24/7, but that's not the truth at it at all, is it? The real reason was because you had no money of your own after leaving your job, and so you continued to rely on your boyfriend at the time for money. You knew that by breaking up with him, you'd have no money to get a place of your own, right? And so to save money, you stayed with him while going out with Alec. Why do you know all about that? Remember that I've been talking with your ex about all of this, and I'm aware the reason you've had the man you go shopping with behind everyone's back is so that you don't have to use any of your own money because he'll pay for you. He told you that? I've made sure to talk to all your men. We had to see how many men you've been going around with and pleasing to make sure we had enough evidence for when your ex plans on getting his settlement from you. Then what's with those women that were coming on stage with you? Those would be the women that Alec keeps around as his fallback plans. Fallback plans? In other words, women he's been going out with. A year ago, Alec was telling me about how he had other women that he could use in case things didn't work out. You had all your men with you for different reasons, like for going shopping or going on vacations to Mexico. Well, Alec had all his other women with him in case you and him didn't work out. What the hell? He's made sure that if, on the off chance you did end up a failure in his eyes, he'd have 5 other women to choose from so that they could meet his current needs. And because of that, at times, if you're not doing well in bed, or are not going out with him to certain places he wants to go, he'll go out with one of them instead. 5 other women? So you're saying that besides you and I, he has 3 others? Well, the women I have with me right now are the ones he had as fallback plans a year ago, but I'm sure now he has newer women to fall back on. He was planning on marrying me? So why would he have other women with him if he's chosen me? Well, I'll be honest, I'm not sure what he's thinking by marrying you. This is screwed up. And so now that you're all caught up, I made sure that each and every one of these people had a speech ready for you, all for the sake of the newly married couple. Wait! What are they all going to say? They're just going to talk about what any other reason would say during their speech. They'll talk about what kind of relationship you guys will have after getting married, and they'll think about what kind of people the two of you will turn into, and I'm sure at the end, they'll talk about the relationship they had with you guys that led them to this wedding. And once all of that is over, the speech will be done. Wait, if they talk about the relationship they've had with us, all of our guests here will know the truth. And that doesn't mean just me, but Alec as well. Oh, are you guys really going to be embarrassed by everyone finding out about the people you really are and what you've both been doing? All of them are the people we've been with behind each other's back. Of course we'll be embarrassed. But you said it would be okay for me to make this speech for you two, so I made sure that this speech would be like any other wedding speech. I just took a template from online and had each one of them fill it out of the truth. You're kidding! What am I going to do about this? Well, I need to get back to upholding my end of the promise, and then after that, we'll be going. Wait a second, Stella! You've started to ruin all of the wedding. You come and take care of all this right now. Hey, Stella! It's because of you that my wedding was a failure. Because of me? It's because of us both learning about our other partners that Alec and I are now divorced, and right now we're trying to figure out which one of us is going to pay for all that wedding. And what makes this all worse is that our parents aren't even bothering to help us. All of my savings went into paying for my dress and all my stylists. I have nothing left now. Is that so? Well, having a lot of savings is pretty more important for a wedding, huh? Don't start lecturing me on all that stuff now. It's because of you that both my wedding and my marriage are now gone. And the house we've been living in is under Alex's name, so he's asking me to leave. But I don't have any money to move out to anywhere. And when I tried to move back in with my parents, they told me they never wanted to see me again. Well, that is pretty tough, isn't it? I'm sorry to bring this up during your difficult times, but a year ago today, Alec and I were planning to get married. Why would you say that now? I now know that you were with Alec while he was cheating on me at that time, so I was wondering if it would be okay for me to get money from you for ruining my life. Huh? Like a settlement? I just thought I'd get my money from you now since your ex is doing the same thing with the both of you. Don't you dare do that. Why do you think it's alright to ask me to pay you anything right now? I just assumed I have the right to. Well, all of that happened over a year ago now, right? Well, did your ex or I ever say that we were over any of that yet? You seriously haven't yet? You and Alec were the only two that decided that we should have just been over it as easily as you both were. But unlike you and Alec, your ex and I were hurt very badly by what you both did. And so now it's our turn to make sure you both learn your lessons. I was just told by my parents that they don't want to see me and I'd have no money for a home. Yet you still think it's okay to ask me for money? I don't have any money to pay you with, so you're just going to destroy me. That's okay. In order not to destroy you, I'll make sure you can pay the settlement off over time in smaller payments. But we haven't even decided on who's going to be paying for the whole wedding yet. Well, that's both of your responsibility, so I don't care too much about that. But you're my best friend. Well, up until a year ago. And I apologize for what happened in the past. That was not the kind of problem that it could be solved with an apology, Sophia. You're a freaking adult now, so you should have known that. I think right now you shouldn't be wasting any time with me and should be using it to find yourself a job. Come on, Stella. You're really going to try and get a settlement from me? Stella, I'm your best friend, so you should be able to understand the trouble I'm going through. We're best friends, right? Help me. I was able to get a settlement made from what Alec and Sophia did to me a year ago. Alec was able to pay me in one full payment. And as for Sophia, she's going to be paying me over time. And as for the aftermath of the wedding, Alec had a lot of guests there from work and those that were his friends. But over time now, they've all started to say goodbye to him due to all his cheating and the way he handled all those women. The only other thing I know about him now is that he's moved away somewhere far to try and run away from his mistakes. As for Sophia, she has left any ties she had with her old company behind and is now working part-time work to try and save up whatever she can.
Hey, Jane. You go ahead and leave that job and come here. I'm gonna have you start taking care of my dad tomorrow.
Huh? What do you mean you want me to leave my job, though? And you want me to come take care of your dad?
Well, I just got a call from my dad a little bit ago. He had a bad call and broke one of his hands.
He broke a hand? That's terrible to hear.
He was trying to get something off the top of one of his shelves, and in doing so, stood on a weak chair. When it broke, he came crashing down on his hands. And you know, my dad is getting up there in age now, right? It ended up breaking one hand and really screwing up the other. So living on his own is going to be impossible for him. So I'm going to have you quit your job and start working full-time as my dad's caregiver.
I'm really worried about your dad and all, but asking me to do that right now is a bit too sudden. First of all, I don't want to quit the job I have right now.
Huh? All you're doing is working a simple job for the city, right? And you're a woman in an office filled with men, so there's no way you'd be able to get any further promotions there. So hurry up and leave that place and come to my dad's side.
What?
Well, your husband's dad is in trouble right now. This is your job as the wife, right? And you already know that my dad has work to do, still with his company that he's been running. So he needs a woman like you to go care for his needs so that he can get right back to focusing on keeping his company on the rails.
You didn't marry me to be the one to care for your dad when he needs someone to support him. If you're that worried about him needing help, then why don't you go and help your dad out? And you saying that I'm just some city worker doesn't make my job any less important than yours. All you do is work for an office for some large company. And you actually get more time off than I do at your job, so during family emergencies like these, you should be able to take a month of PTO, right?
I do have a lot of PTO saved up, but I've never seen anyone use all their time up like that. And if I did take that much time off, can you imagine the impact that would have on me getting a promotion? I'm tired of arguing about this, so just leave the job of yours and come care for my dad.
Then how about until his hands are usable again, we hire someone to come and care for his needs? He could even do that himself since he has all that money from being a CEO. He has to have the ability to find someone to care for him, right?
You're my wife, and having you care for him is free to all of us. There's no reason to hire anyone to care for him when you're right here. All right? This is a strict order from your husband, so you listen to me. Stop trying to talk your way around it and hurry things up with quitting your job and coming here.
That's...
I already told my dad that you'd be coming soon to start caring for him, so the plan's already been set in motion. So I'll leave everything up to you now.
It's been a while, Jane. I'm sure you've heard by now from Phil about my injury.
I did hear about it from him, but are you really doing okay now? You didn't get any other injuries from a fall like that?
I was pretty lucky with that fall and only ended up with one broken hand and the other one being sprained. I didn't happen to hit my head on anything, and everything besides my hands are all right. Thank goodness my son bought me that smartphone last year for something like this. I'm still able to use it a little bit on my left hand, even with the sprain.
Well, that's great to hear.
Now, another thing I heard from Phil was that you're going to be quitting your job to come here? That will be a major help for me. But I'm really sorry that you have to do that. Are you really okay with leaving that job of yours to be around me all the time?
Whether I'm okay with it or not, this was an order from my husband, and he told me that times like these are why he married me in the first place, so...
What do you mean this is an order by your husband? He told me that you chose to leave your job after hearing about me being injured in that fall.
That's not at all what happened, Fred. Just a few hours ago, he came out of nowhere telling me to quit my job without really giving me any more context. Then after that, he told me that you're in trouble and that I need to be a good wife and take care of you while your hands are hurt. And when I told him that I didn't really want to leave my job, he started to get upset with me.
That's not at all the story I heard from Phil. I'm so sorry, Jane. I may have very little use of my hands right now, but I'll find some way to manage on my own. I don't want to be the one to force anyone to do things that they don't want to do, so please relax.
So you're saying it's okay if I don't quit my job?
Of course I am. It seems that Phil is just trying to use what happened to me for his advantage. I'm really sorry about all that.
Actually, I just told my boss that I'd be leaving my position and everything.
What? So you already let them know that you're leaving that job?
I just assumed that what my husband wanted from me was what I had to do. And when it comes to him, if I ever reject something he asks of me, he gets all worked up and becomes a real pain in the butt. The last time I went against something he asked, it was like a war broke out inside our house. So I just thought I had no other choice this time and would actually have to leave my job for good.
Phil really acts that way with you?
But you don't have to worry about me right now. I'll be around your place tomorrow at the soonest to start helping you. So if you need me to pick anything up for you on the way over, just let me know and I'll grab it all for you.
You being here for me will really be a big help, but I hate that this had to happen to you. Right. Since you're going to be looking after me for a while, I'd like to pay you in return. I'll make it seem as though you're my housemaid, and that way you can still earn money for the work you'll do. How does that sound to you? I'll even make sure that you're paid handsomely for your work.
That really puts a smile on my face. But if I earned any money helping you around, Phil would be pissed off before either of us knew it. Honestly, you just offering that is already more than enough.
Do you really think that Phil would get upset with you? Well, if that's what you're worried about, I'll make sure to pay you in secret, and you can keep it to yourself. I'll hand you cash every month, and so that he'll never be able to find out about us. So please allow me to pay you from now on.
Are you really okay with that?
I wouldn't want you helping me without anything in return. You've already had to quit the job that made you happy for me. And now you have to look after all my needs for a few months, I'm sure. It's only right that I give you money for the work you'll be putting in.
Thank you so much, Fred. Well, I look forward to coming over to your house starting tomorrow.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you again after such a long time. I know that it's not the most amazing thing having to look after an old geezer like me, but I'm glad it's going to be you and not someone else.
Phil, where are you right now? Your dad has fallen down again, and you should have gotten a call from the hospital already, right? Right now he's going to be getting some treatment, but I can't be here all by myself and need you here with me.
that sounds like a lot of trouble for me, so you go ahead and deal with him on your own there. Tell the doctor that I've got work to do that's too important for me to be stepping away from at the moment.
What? Your dad's had a bad fall and you're not even going to come and see him? And what do you mean by you have to work right now? Today is Sunday and you always have work off on Sundays. All you're doing is hanging out at home, so what the hell are you talking about?
Shut up, Jane. If Sundays are meant to be sitting around at home all day, then why did my dad get hurt again? Unlike you all, I don't have time to listen to medical talk all day. I have very important things regarding the aftermath of this to be thinking about right now and don't need to be dealing with you two.
What kind of important aftermath things are you talking about? Don't tell me you think your dad is going to die now. He may have had a bad fall, but it shouldn't be anything life-threatening.
But I heard that call from the hospital and they told me he was out for over an hour, right? He already had one fall last year that broke some of his bones, so I think his life is coming to an end now. So before that happens, I want to be early with having my plans ready to go.
What you're talking about right now is crazy. He's not even close to being dead yet.
Whatever, just take care of him for me. And if he happens to be on his deathbed, give me a call right away.
Hey, Phil, what the hell is with these divorce papers? I had only just gotten back from the hospital after your dad's health started looking better. Why are there divorce papers in the living room that have all been filled out?
Crap, just when I thought that he'd be done for. I never expected him to make it back from that fall this time. I had hoped that after he died here, I'd be the one to get his company and everything else he has.
Huh?
Well, even if he's not dead yet, I'm sure that this means that he'll have to step down as a CEO. And so if that's the case, that means the next in line for that position would be me, his son. So because of that, you and I are getting a divorce.
I have no idea what's going on right now. Why are you starting to talk about divorce out of nowhere like that?
Because I have a woman already prepared for me when I become CEO.
What? Who the hell is this woman you plan on being with once you're a CEO? I don't want to think that this could be true, but have you been cheating on me?
And what's so bad about me cheating on you? You are the one that quit your job, and you've barely been around our house. And since you're not around the house much, you barely get any chores done. So I have to throw you away.
The reason I had to quit my job is because of you, Phil. You told me to quit my job and go be by your dad's side to take care of him. That's why every single day I've been away from the house so that I could be with your dad and make sure he had everything he needed. So stop with that crap of saying it's my fault that nothing gets done in our house and using that as an excuse to fool around with another woman.
Well, who knows the real reason why you'd always be going over to my dad's house and never stayed with me. Perhaps you weren't even going over there at all, and were out with other men besides me. Even after my dad's hands healed, you still said you needed to be at his house to care for him. That's what started to make it seem as though you couldn't be trusted.
Excuse me?
And so in your place, I found myself another woman to fill in the empty space that you left me with. She's been around for me to make sure I'm happy while having to stay busy with all my hard work. It's because of how kind she is to me that I'll be making her my next wife. She'll become the young wife of the new CEO. So as for you, there's no use anymore in my life.
You're a freaking monster, Phil. Well, whatever now. If that's how you want things, then let's get this divorce. But you're going to be paying me a settlement. I'll make sure that not only you will be paying me, but that other chick of yours that you've been cheating on me with as well.
Hey. Don't try and bully me like that, Jane. And please, don't touch her. She's still only a college student after all. Making a young student like her have to pay you a large amount of money is the worst thing a man could ever do to someone else.
You've got to be kidding me. The girl you've cheated on me with is a frickin' college student? What do you think you're doing getting involved with someone that young?
Well, she was the one that came to me first. Well, she started working a part-time job with the company I'm in, so... when one day she just happened to look at me differently, and things took off from there. And I'm sure that when she heard what I'd be CEO really soon, that's what really made her fall into my arms.
Huh?
And so since this wasn't anyone's fault besides your own, don't bother with trying to get any money from us. If you had never been away from this house all the time, maybe this would have never happened to you. But now I'll at least be kind enough to give you the house. And that should be enough to get you to stop trying to make us pay, right?
Huh? You're going to give me the house?
I'll give you the house as part of us having to split properties, as well as a little extra money for all the troubles you've caused. That should be enough to make you happy without complaints, right? I've been busy getting all this ready for you anyway since yesterday.
Even after your dad had a bad fall, you still never came to see him in the hospital. I had no idea what had gotten into you, but it seems this whole time you've been thinking of a divorce, huh?
Well, everything I've done shouldn't come as a surprise to you. I'll give you the house and everything now, so allow things between us to be over.
I'm fine with that, but I won't be giving it back.
I don't care. I'm going to become CEO soon. My dad's going to step down from his position, and then I'll be taking it and the house he lives in. I'll be able to give my new girlfriend the gift of being my wife, and we can have an amazing life together.
Then I'll make sure to have that divorce paperwork turned in soon for you. Even though there isn't any company around anymore, I'm happy to see you giving me the house and all that.
Huh? What do you mean the company's not around anymore? Hey, what do you mean by all of that?
The company that your dad had is no longer around anymore. Just before your dad had fallen that second time, he made sure to have the company and everything that went with it sold to another, larger company.
What did you just say?
That's why I was a bit confused by you saying that you'd be the next CEO and that the girl would be the next wife to the CEO. Maybe hearing that your dad had fallen again broke your brain in some way.
Hey, Jane, explain all of this to me right now. Since when did my dad end up selling his company? Why wouldn't he have just given to me instead? And why did my dad never tell me he was going to do any of that?
This is all because of that strict order you gave me back then to leave my job and take care of your dad full time. I was able to hear him talking about it for a long time now, about how he planned on getting rid of his company. And not only that, but I was around to help him out with all of that as well.
What? Is that so?
Even after he had already healed from his first fall, the reason I was going over every day was to help him handle that. He had asked for my help, and so I was there for him to support his busy work that he had to do to find a company to take his off his hands for a good price. Yet, for whatever reason, you decided to call my time out of the house helping him me cheating on you with other men. And that was your reason for cheating on me with a college student? You really are the worst kind of monster imaginable.
Wait, that cannot be real. Why would my dad ever get rid of that company? He had me here all this time to take over the company for him, and that's why I've been working so hard. I even expected to be the CEO for the longest time now, so I've been studying day and night to know exactly how to run it right.
Well, maybe you should have been studying more about your dad's company instead of other things. For a long time now, your dad's company has been slowly bleeding money.
Are you serious?
And even though I say that, us selling it wasn't your dad's first choice. But after that fall last year that left him in pretty rough shape, he realized he shouldn't be working anymore. He told me that he's not a young man anymore and should really use the time he had left to sell the company and then enjoy himself. And so instead of giving you the company, he wanted to pocket the money he received for the company and be done with it.
If he was going to be doing something as huge as that, he would have asked me first. Why would he do all of that without my opinion?
We had tried plenty of times to get your input back then. But every time we asked you to come to your dad's house to talk, you told us you didn't have time to.
What?
And when your dad would call you asking to talk, you would reply saying that I'll take care of everything for you. And then succeed that by saying you were too busy with work to listen to him. And so, because of the distance you gave your dad, he gave up on you. And there's your reason for him never having the chance to talk to you about selling his company.
Ah! So that's what he wanted back then when he kept being rude and calling me all the time.
And only a month after that, the company your dad had was done with, and he had sold it. Him falling was around the same time the larger company came and paid him for it.
What should I do? I had finally thought I had that company myself. Yet things are not at all going to plan for me. To make sure that I'd been able to get the company soon, that I even forged my dad's handwriting and handed it for him saying that he'd be stepping down.
What?
Yesterday, I had gotten a call from the hospital saying Dad had fallen and was badly hurt. And so immediately after that call, I'd forged a document saying that he'd step down from being CEO. And then I called my girlfriend and told her all the good news about how we won and we'd have a wonderful life. I even went out and got that divorce paperwork and filled it all out for us. And yet after all that hard work I put in preparing for my new future, my dad ended up selling the company.
What the hell were you doing forging your dad's name and using it to take over his company when he was in the hospital?
Now wait. You did say that my dad pocketed all the money for his company, right? I don't think he'll be needing all that money he received, unless he spends it all on his medical bills and stuff for that bad fall. Then there won't be anything left to his name, right? You didn't help my dad all that time for nothing either, right? Maybe you have been eyeing his money as well. He still has the house and other things, possibly, correct?
You do seem to be thinking a lot about this. He still does have some things left over, like the house and the car.
Thank God. At least having some of that left is totally fine with me. Having his car and a house left over is still more than enough to make a little money. At least this time, I don't have to worry about a company now, and we'll still be getting a ton of money through all that stuff.
Huh? Why are you thinking all of that can be your stuff?
He has broken bones and has been stuck in the hospital for a bit. And of course, he's not a young man anymore. I'm sure it won't be long before he dies, and that I'll be left with all of his things. Even any money that he may have left over after the medical bills. So in other words, all of that is my stuff now. No, that will all be going to Jane in the end. I won't be leaving a single thing behind for you on my will, you stupid boy. Huh? I never once thought that my own flesh and blood could turn out to be some kind of rotten soul. I'm so glad that I handled all of this earlier and had everything written to go to Jane.
Wait a second. Is this you, Dad? Really you?
Yes, this is your very embarrassed father talking to you. When Jane told me that she'd be going home for a bit to grab some things, I never thought that she'd return to tell me that you have filled out divorce paperwork for the two of you. Right now, I have no idea what to think of you, Phil.
All of that doesn't really matter anymore. I want to know why you've been leaving everything to her instead of the man that you've built a lot of blood and sweat into. Why are you giving her the house and your car and everything else you own?
Well, this is my thanks to her for taking great care of me. Instead of my own son coming to care for me, she was forced into a position where she had to quit the job she loved and take care of an old guy like me. And not just that, but was also there to help me with the company. So I'm very thankful for her. So what's so wrong about me giving her everything after everything she's given me?
No, that's all a bit too messed up. You shouldn't have to thank her for doing her job as my wife. And even if you do want to thank her, you're being way too damn generous to her.
I don't want to hear your opinion on anything I've done. You've never come to care for me, and you never took your wife's life into consideration. And the worst thing of all is that you've been cheating on her with some young woman that's still in college.
Dad, can you just calm down a little? I know what's going on here. What's really happened is that Jane has been threatening you and forced you to give her all your things, right?
What did you just say to me, Phil?
She threatened you by saying that if you didn't give her everything in your will, that she'd stop caring for you, right? You couldn't use your hands back then, and there was nothing else you could do but give in to her threats, right? And ever since then, you've been too weak to run from her, and that's why she's been able to take advantage of you, right?
Because you happen to think things that way, I'm through with ever dealing with you again. I'm thinking this is it, boy. You no longer have to worry about anything that has to do with me. I don't need you around to care for me now, so never ever show your face around me again.
Wait, Dad!
You can't even care for your own wife, and you can't even take care of your own dad. I can no longer stress myself thinking of you as something like my family. If anything, I'm a pretty bad dad for not leaving my company to you. So for both our sakes, today's the last day we'll be called father and son.
But wait, Dad!
Do not come to the hospital to see me. Actually, I'll make sure they won't let you in if you do come. At this point, if I see your face, I'm gonna want to strangle you. And the doctor told me not to get my blood pressure up. So now, Phil, goodbye.
Jane, how's about you and I act as though we never needed to get divorced? I've been broken up with that other woman now. Well, I wouldn't say I broke up with her. The moment she heard I wouldn't be CEO anymore, she bolted and I couldn't even get a reply from her again.
Well, why would anyone want to marry a penniless man after they've been caught lying? And I'll have to say no to your request. I don't ever want to get back together with you now that you've gone and cheated on me.
What?
And even if I did, I've already handed in the divorce forms.
Well, if you leave me, then what will my dad and I do? I know that my dad said that he cut ties with me and all, but he's going to need someone to care for him, and I'll be his only option. But I have to still work my job, so I can't be at home to watch him. Please, Jane, you're too nice to just throw my dad away like that, aren't you?
Yeah, he's done a lot for me to get where I am. And so that's why I'll be looking after your dad still. And I have to say thanks to you since you gave me the house and everything in the divorce. So I think we'll sell his house and live in our house together.
What? You and my dad will?
I may have been caring for him for a year now, but it was never that difficult for someone like me. Unlike you, your dad's a real gentleman and will always say thank you for all the chores and cooking I do for him.
He'll even tell me that my cooking is delicious when he eats it. So because of his kindness, I promise that I'll care for all his needs until the very end.
What? You're going to be divorcing me and you'll still live with my dad? There's no way things like that actually happen.
Of course, from the outside, people would think that's pretty strange. But to me, your dad is like my second father, so I could never leave him behind. And when you consider that I'll just be his housemate or something like that, there's nothing at all that's weird about us living together. He told me that he's still going to be paying me after all, even when you and I are divorced.
Huh?
He told me that his house and care wouldn't even be a part of how he pays me. Although even by just receiving them from him, I'd be fine with caring for every need he has. I'm going to really do my best to make sure this last stretch of his life is the best he's ever lived.
Would it be wrong if I came to live with you both too? I promise that I'll never cheat on you again, okay?
You already know the answer to that one. You are not the kind of person we could trust living under the same roof as us. So with that, have a great one, Phil. You should be happy that both the woman that was getting in your way and caring for your dad will no longer be a problem for you. Now, enjoy life all by your lonesome and live it any way you'd like. After that, Fred was able to make a pretty full recovery from his injuries, and he was released from the hospital to come and live with me. I'm not sure if it was because he no longer had the stress of his company on him, but after coming back home, he didn't even seem like he needed my care. He was able to go out and about on his own and enjoy whatever hobbies he had, all without my help. And because of his great health, I was also able to make up some good hobbies, and Fred and I lived a great life together. But then there's Phil. After trying to get back into the job he'd had for the longest time, he was told he would be let go as they found out about how he was trying to go into his dad's company. Of course, that would no longer be happening. However, the company that did buy his dad's company did allow him to join, although the new job would only pay him half that of what his past job paid. And while there, he tried hard to get with some of the female employees, but they all told him to get away and that he was too old to be hitting on young women. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching all the way until the end. If you felt good after watching this video, please like the video. If not, please leave a comment and give us your feedback. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Your comments and likes help this channel grow. We hope you enjoy our other stories as well.